sorry.
Homosexuals!
You are good at throwing jump, aren't you?
You want to play?
Yay!
Vaginal secretions, vaginal blood, endometriosis, fibroid juice.
I know you've got all the residues on your face.
Like a string of firecrackers, Amanda's screams touch off a chain reaction, ticks in the other children. Especially Devin, who's now barking uncontrollably.
There's no fruit juice! I take a shit so bad!
Now that is a fucking Heineken.
I love to just squat right over your mouth, give you a nice sweet turd that you could just mash it with your tongue against the top of your mouth and swallow it for me.
I'm so constipated, yeah!
It breaks. It's Saturday, November 3rd, 2018. Coming up on the program today, drunk versus elderly, the stumble rumble, plus feces from the sky, faulty toilet, or a turd from heaven. And how many people died because grandma dropped her cookies? Answer at the end of the program. All coming up today.
It's the Distorted View Show with Tim Henson.
The guy, he's into dirty underwear or something. I don't know. He's sniff freak.
Yeah, Tim Henson back here with you for a weekend show. Apologies, I missed yesterday's program. I was wheeling and dealing. Lord Douche interrupted me while I was getting the show ready to talk about his uncle. His uncle wanted his uncle wants to upgrade his MacBook computer, right? And new MacBooks, like the nice ones, are over $2,000. So I took this opportunity to suggest, why doesn't your uncle buy my old computer? This is what I have to do because I've been priced out of the Mac ecosystem, Apple products in general. So now what I do, like every year or two, I'll sell my old computer and put that towards a new one, and pay a couple $100 and then get the nice new computer. It's the only way I can afford Macs. And luckily, Apple products, the one thing they have going for them is they retain their value. So his uncle has like a 2011 MacBook or something. Mine is a 2015, and it's pretty nice. It has the graphics card and maxed out RAM and everything. It's actually a better computer than I purchased. I got this on eBay, and the seller was a moron and didn't know what the specs were. And so he said it was like a 512 gigabyte SSD. Well, it wasn't. It was a 1 terabyte, and it had a better graphics card. Whatever. So, Apple just introduced new products. I thought, well, I'm going to go with the Mac Mini this time because it's relatively inexpensive compared to their other overpriced fucking products. So the Mac Mini starts at $799, and for that price, you get basically a turd inside of a metal box. Utterly useless. By the time I spec'd it out to what I need, like a hard drive, CPU, all that shit, it's like $1,500 for that little piece of shit. So I ended up going with an iMac 27-inch, and you have to go with the big one. I wanted the small iMac, but the problem with that one is you can't upgrade the RAM. I need this thing to last me a while, and I would like to upgrade the RAM. It's a whole fucking game you have to play with Apple. And I'm not going to pay full price for an iMac 27-inch. So I first went to, Apple Refurbish, and then I looked at Best Buy. I finally found an iMac 27-inch in Grove City, up near Columbus. And it's like one of those certified refurbished ones. Just, someone returned the iMac because they didn't want it or whatever. And it was like $300 off. So, okay. That's going to be Distorted View's new computer. It's almost more fucking work than it's worth, selling these computers and getting new ones and stuff. The reason why I went with the iMac 27-inch is because it's got that 5K display. And if you try to buy one of those, there's very few 5K monitors, right? And you're going to be paying $1,000 for it. So it kind of makes sense. That's the one computer that seems not insanely overpriced for what you get. Why am I telling you all of this? Who cares? I'm sorry, I just have to vent. Anytime I talk about Apple products, I'll get emails. Well, you should just use Windows. It's cheaper. You get the same for $800 less. And that's kind of true. But Windows still, and I use Windows for a lot of stuff. It's a shit show. I don't know what it is. Like, the programs that I use are always fucking crashing, and I can't have that. I need a rock solid operating system, software, because I like to just come in here, turn my shit on, and start recording. If it freezes halfway through and I lose the show, I'll have a meltdown and maybe a heart attack. I get all worked up. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's happened on the Mac, but like a handful of times, over the years that I've used this thing. Every single time I'm on this Windows computer, and this is a new one. Like, this is newer. It's got like one of those Ryzen 7 processors or whatever. Like, I'll be using a Sony Vegas, or it's not even Sony anymore. It's a video editing program. Every single time I edit a video, it crashes at least 2 or 3 times. And I don't care the reason. Maybe, your graphics card sucks, or maybe you don't have enough memory, or I don't care the reason. I just know that I don't have these problems on the Mac. And that's the only reason I'm still using this fucking thing. Okay? So stop badgering me about that. No one said anything. I've just been going off for 6 minutes. I'm sorry. Hey, this is probably neither the time nor the place, but look, I've got a microphone and people listening, so if anyone wants this is Swap Shop now. If anyone wants a 2011 27-inch iMac with 32 gigs of RAM and a graphics card, I'll sell it to you cheap. I have this thing sitting here. This was a few computers ago. This is one that I never got around to selling. It's an i7. It's fully loaded, baby. It's got a Thunderbolt. It's Thunderbolt 1. That was the era. It's got a Thunderbolt port, USB, all that shit. Firewire. I think it's like the last iMac that has Firewire. 2000. I'll sell it to you cheap. $400 or $600, and I'll throw in a lifetime membership. You got to pay for shipping too. It's probably gonna be like another $50. But that computer, I used that computer to record Distorted View Daily for, I don't know, 3-4 years. So you can own a piece of history. Let's get into some audio now. I used to love the 4th of July because the news stories that would come out after were great for the show. People blowing off fingers, setting fireworks off in their house. There's a lot of good content for the show. Well, now I can say the same thing about Halloween, because people don't understand what could possibly be offensive to others. Al Roker got in trouble for dressing up, not in whiteface. He just dressed up as a white person, like a white character. He went as Doc Brown from Back to the Future. And there were idiots complaining about that. Like, that's not the issue. It's not that you're dressing up as someone who's black. It's when you paint your face black, or I guess white. Unless it's like blood or scars or something, just don't paint your face, to look like a different ethnicity.
Some calling a Halloween costume winner racist.
Some are calling it racist. I guarantee you this is going to be the most offensive fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. And the sum is going to be everyone. Everyone except racists think this is racist. All right, let's see what this is.
Racist. It is causing quite a stir after that person was named winner of a contest at a local bar. That picture shows a person dressed in a Ku Klux Klan costume.
Well, that's pretty racist, and you don't even need to go in black or white face. Unless, notice the reporter keeps saying a person. He doesn't talk about the race of this person, just a person dressed in a Ku Klux Klan outfit, which leads me to believe this may be a black man under the robe. Then is it racist? Some people might say. Then that everything makes sense at that point. Let's see what happens here.
And has been shared thousands of times on social media. 5 News reporter Joe Ellison joining us live in Fort Smith now with more on this. Joe?
Look alive, Joe. This is your time to shine, baby. Go for it.
Well, Darren, we now know that picture is from a Halloween costume contest at Little Dude's Bar in Fort Smith. Now, the managers there, they wouldn't speak to us, but members of our local NAACP chapter here in Fort Smith.
Well, of course they're going to talk.
But this is the clientele that Little Dudes is letting.
Yeah, but didn't the bar award him best costume?
Filter their place. And I totally disagree with that because NAACP is not about hating folk.
Leo, feel good is the legal redress for the Sebastian County NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Hey, we don't use that word. Who's racist now? The NAACP really needs to change their name. What is the argument for keeping it? Tradition? 'Cause isn't that what rednecks down south use to try to keep their Confederate statues and flags and shit? We ain't racist down here. It's just always been this way, and I don't want to see things change. This might be one issue, though, where the racists and the NAACP members agree. Yeah, I think they should be called colored people. Well, we do, too. Why? It's tradition, man. There'd be no harm in changing their name to something similar like the National Association of African People Instrumental in Equality or something. I don't know. NAAPIE. Nappy. Maybe not nappy. I'm not good at this stuff. All right, let's continue on here.
That is circulating social media, calling it the costume winner of Little Dude's Bar in Fort Smith's Halloween contest, has members like from the NAACP speaking out on its impact within the community.
I can sort of see the eyes behind the hood because that's the only slits you see. And it looks like a white person underneath there.
But what I would encourage my people not to do is respond to it. Don't respond negatively to this because that's not what we're all about.
Give it a thumbs up, maybe a heart on Facebook. Don't respond negatively. Don't give one of those mean, scowling faces emojis.
This member of the NAACP says he spoke to Little Dude's owner.
That only emboldens the racists.
Who told him the costume contest was voted on by patrons, not the staff.
Yeah.
The managers at the...
This comes from Arkansas. Are you really surprised a KKK outfit won Best Costume? If anything, it's a little lazy. Who doesn't have a robe and a hood hiding back in the closet? Lil Dude sounds like a fun bar, don't it? All right.
ACP says he spoke to Little Dude's owner, who told him the costume contest was voted on by patrons, not the staff. The managers at the bar say they would not comment on the picture or the Halloween costume contest, but the photo is on social media with thousands in the community reacting to it.
I mean, that's disrespectful, for one.
Well, of course you're gonna. If you ask a black guy, he's gonna say it's disrespectful.
Because Fort Smith not being very diverse to begin with. I mean, yeah, he's in his rights, but still, that doesn't justify it at all.
If I was this black guy, I would be like, what? What conversation are we having? You're asking me if it's okay to dress up in a KKK outfit? No! You shouldn't have to ask anyone that. Is this like a news program for children or the retarded or something? Yeah! KKK men are bad.
All right, Joe, thanks. We also would like to speak with the person behind that costume and no word on who that is.
All of a sudden, they're bashful. Come on, go on that news show. Be proud you won a costume contest. You've got the backing of the Little Dudes crowd. All right, let's move on now. I've got an interesting confrontation that takes place at a restaurant. This has got to be in the middle of the night in New York City. Pretty sure everyone involved is drunk. There's guys ordering hot dogs and knishes and shit. So there's an old man just sort of like leaning over the counter, trying to drink coffee. Probably trying to sober up is what he's trying to do. And there's a younger guy there who doesn't like this old man.
Just shut up. Shut up. You understand? Shut up. It's English.
Yeah, the old man doesn't care for the young guy either. I don't know what started this. We kind of like pick up the video in the middle of the fight.
Shut up. Maybe you should shut up.
That guy, obviously, the younger guy sounds drunk, right? He's like, maybe you should shut up, huh?
This is going to go right in your eyes. Excuse me, guys. Okay? I'm going to throw it right in your eyes.
Yeah. He's warning you. He's going to throw hot coffee in your face.
My business. I want to be left alone. I want to be left alone. I want to be left alone. Okay, next, please.
Yeah, maybe you should leave the I mean, it's not a big restaurant. It's more like a stand than anything. I mean, it's indoors, but there's not a lot of room.
My customer, please get me away.
Hey, I just want, honestly, yo.
Hey, honestly, everyone in this video is super annoying. There's just like a customer like, hey, Yeah, honestly, I just want a hot dog, okay? Yeah.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
I just want a hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah. And knish.
Yeah, bro.
Hot dog with everything on it.
Chili cheese?
Yeah, chili cheese.
Why should I go away? Because you're a dick.
All right, so you heard the younger guy called the old man a dick. In response,
you cocksucker.
He throws the coffee in his face.
You drop dead, you cocksucker. Come on, you bastard.
Well, now the old man is getting ready to leave. Like the young guy wanted this whole time, right? He got what he wanted. I mean, he didn't want coffee in his face, but ultimately the old man is getting ready to leave now. But now the young guy wants to fight.
Drop dead, you cocksucker. Come on, you bastard.
You bastard. Well, now they're tussling, and for some reason the old man's shirt comes off. His old flappy tits. See what I mean? Like, everyone in this clip is super annoying. There's like that gay guy who's like, yeah! Oh, the humanity! Like, this is New York City at 3 a.m. It's not that unusual to see two people fighting.
Stop! I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Stop it! Stop! So these the two people who are fighting are just sort of like standing with their hands on each other, almost like around their necks.
Stop! He gets off, guys! Get away from me! Break it up!
And when I say, young guy, he's probably in his, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, maybe. And the old guy is gotta be 70-ish. The fight is successfully broken up.
Hey, squash it.
All right, let me get my stuff on. All right, I didn't come here looking for trouble. I really didn't. Oh, you don't pour coffee, amigo. Come on. And look at trouble. Go outside, man. Goddamn piece of shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when you throw coffee at someone, you kind of start trouble there.
Fucked up.
He's outside. He's got my stuff. Man.
They're trying to drag away the young guy to just sort of break up the fight, but the young guy has a piece of this old man's clothing and is pulling him out the door.
I will goddamn kill you. I didn't come here looking for trouble. You did. You came here looking for trouble. Come on, man. You came here looking for trouble.
Yo, I just came looking for knish, man. Yeah.
I didn't.
2 dogs. Taco. Cheese. By the way, the workers at this place are totally hands off, right? They're just like, same shit, different day.
I got down by cop. Listen, he was threatening me. He was threatening me.
They're talking to the cops now. And that's pretty much where the clip ends. Although he really wasn't threatening the old man. He just called the old man a dick. If this goes to court, that's exactly what I would say. Your Honor, if you listen to the video, my client clearly says you are a dick. That's not a threat, that's a statement. I'd have an English professor as an expert witness on the stand breaking down that sentence. All right, one more clip before we get into the news here. I've ranted and raved against these goddamn gender reveal parties. Like, we give a shit, if your baby is boy or girl. I mean, really, that's something the mom and the dad would care about, maybe the grandparents of this soon-to-be baby. But other than that, even, other family members, they don't care if it's a boy or girl. Who cares? It's just like, oh, I'm going to be an uncle. That's the cool thing. Or I'm going to be an aunt. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. It doesn't affect me in one fucking way, shape, or form. Equally as annoying are these proposal videos because they're getting more elaborate. Engagements are annoying to begin with because you always have to tell the story. How did it happen? How did he propose? And so there's pressure on the guy to do something. But now, not only does he have to do something, it's got to be filmed because we got to get it on YouTube for those views and likes. This guy took his girlfriend, soon to be fiance, on one of those slingshot rides. The ones where you start out on the ground and then half a second later you're like 3,000 feet in the air. The great thing is this girl does not want to be on the ride with him. Like, she's freaking the fuck out. And that's when he decides to propose.
I don't want to do this.
Baby. The video starts with her screaming, I don't want to do this!
Baby. I don't want to do this. Baby. I don't want to do this. Baby.
It's like, it's too late. You can't get out now. You're strapped in. The ride's starting to, like, rock back and forth.
Baby. Listen to me. I love you more than anything in life.
That's great. I don't want to be here. I'm going to vomit.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
She's hyperventilating because the ride is getting ready to slingshot upwards.
Look at me. I love you more than anything, baby. I don't want to. Baby.
I think she literally said, I don't want to hear this. Like, this is not the time or the place, right? However, this guy has picked well for himself. Probably a good idea, putting a ring on her finger, because you can get her to do anything. She doesn't want to be here, but somehow you got her on this ride. Anal is probably in the cards for you. You could probably get real freaky with her. She'll cave in eventually.
Baby, look. Babe.
He's got the ring out, but she won't open her eyes. This is the problem with this proposal.
Look. Will you marry me?
She's like, what? This is how you're proposing to me?
I love you.
Perfect timing. Be funny if the restraints were loose and she slid out of the chair, cracking her head and dying. The world's shortest engagement. That would probably result in even more pussy. Oh, this guy is so lucky, you know? You're a young guy and a widower. Girls love that shit. She said yes.
Look at the...
This is exactly how you want your lady to sound after asking her if she'll marry you. Just crying and screaming. Yes,
open it. Yes, you can. Open it. It's over.
I mean, it's over in the sense that you're as high as you're going to go. You're still kind of swinging in midair, really, really high.
Baby.
Let's see at the end, is she happy or not?
Is that a yes?
Uh-oh.
Is that a
yes? Wait, she didn't say yes yet, did she? I mean, I thought she did, but he keeps asking her and she's not responding. Assuming she did say yes, how do you think they're going to top this for their baby gender reveal party? My theory is that he's going to gather all of his friends and family around, and he's going to have 2 frying pans. One is going to be baby blue, and the other is going to be pastel pink. And he's just going to whack his wife over the head with whatever color frying pan the baby is. Just knock that bitch unconscious. All right, for the YouTube views. And with that, let's get into the crazy, bizarre, twisted up, fucked up news right now. I shit you not, freaks. All right, I spent the first 6 minutes of the show ranting and raving about Macs and Windows, and I told you that I'm not going to switch to Windows because it always crashes, and my Mac is so stable. It has crashed twice now. Twice! Specifically Logic, which is the program I use to record the show. Now, both times, I didn't lose anything, which is a little different. With Windows, I would have been fucked. I would have lost like half of the show or something. But this one, it's weird. It must autosave continuously or something because I didn't lose anything, but I spoke too soon. See what happens when I talk? Bad things happen because God hates me and he punishes me and stuff. All right, thank you guys so much for being listeners of the show. If you'd like to support this nonsense, there's 2 very important ways you can do that. First, and probably most importantly, you can sign up for the Sideshow, DV's member site, where you get full access to the entire archive of programs, well over 3,000 shows. Plus, every week we do exclusive programs just for paying freaks. And, of course, we do videos and stuff like that. Check it out, superfreaksideshow.com. It's only $6.99 a month, even less when you opt for a quarterly, semi-annual, yearly, or lifetime membership. The other way you can support the show, we've got a Patreon account. You can pledge a few dollars, as little as $1. Any little bit, or every little bit helps. Any little bit helps. You can pledge, I think, up to like 20. You can really pledge anything you want. Who's going to be my first $50 a month patron? Someone out there has got to have big bucks, and like $50 a month, that's nothing. Well, it's something to me. Where's all my rich millionaire listeners, right? All right, so there's just a couple ways to support the show. 3 quick stories now. First up, human shit from a faulty toilet that fell through the ceiling and onto a patient at Cheltenham General Hospital only hit her feet, guys, so chill out. I guess that's what the spokesman is insinuating here. It's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. Yeah, there's poop falling from the ceiling at our hospital, but the turds only hit a patient's feet. On Wednesday, Gloucestershire Live reports that a woman had been covered in human excrement. Oh, they cut fake news. See what the dishonest media does? They exaggerate. Covered in human excrement as it fell onto her ward from above. The Hospital Foundation Trust has since contacted the news to say that the waste matter hit her uncovered feet only. Still, that's poop hitting your bare skin. I mean, yeah, out of all the places, if I was going to have poop touch me, I guess I'd want it on my feet. If you get it like on your arm, it's not horrible. However, the smell wafts up rather quickly, right? You don't want shit on your face because that's close to your mouth and various holes. You've got a greater chance of getting pink eye or something. You accidentally rub that shit into your eyeball. So yeah, intellectually, getting shit on your feet is the way you'd want to go if you're thinking about this. It's easy to spray off your feet. You could dunk your feet in water, hose it off. But still, when you're in a hospital, the last thing you want is poop on you. All right, they said they had nothing to add to the statement. The statement reads, earlier Wednesday, a fault in part of a pipe above a ward in the General Hospital resulted in a patient coming into contact with waste from that pipe. All patients in the area were immediately relocated. The section of the pipe and ceiling tiles were replaced, and the area was cleaned and made safe. Whilst we recognize that this was a deeply unpleasant experience, we've reassured our patients that any clinical risk as a result of this accident is minimal, and we have apologized to those affected. One of my favorite YouTube pranks is the one, this is really horrible. People should actually go to jail for this, but it is hilarious to watch. It's where someone feeds the seagulls on a beach a bunch of laxatives. And then, about 5-10 minutes later, all the birds get diarrhea and they start pooping all over beachgoers. Oh, it's hilarious. Second story we have for you today.
You are a rude, thoughtless little pig, okay?
You know what Father of the Year candidate Alec Baldwin means. It's time for the Store Reviews, Access Entertainment Hollywood News Insider Report Extra Edition tonight.
Celebrity.
What the fuck are you doing?
Entertainment.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Hollywood.
And if you get raped by a pack of niggers, it'll be your fault.
Extra.
Kathy, get off my phone!
Well, Alec Baldwin kicked off this segment. Turns out the news story has to do with Alec Baldwin. Now, I like Alec Baldwin. I think he's funny. He was great in 30 Rock. He's always great on Saturday Night Live. I even record that show he does on Sundays. The Alec Baldwin Show. Alec Baldwin. It's an interview show. It's weird. I record every single episode. I've yet to watch one. I get 2 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't care about his guest. I don't give a fuck what Robert De Niro has to say, because I'm not 90 years old. He had Kim Kardashian on. Don't give a shit about that. I don't know. I record all the shows, but I don't watch them. Anyway, so Alec Baldwin is back in the news. He's got a temper on him, man. Actor Alec Baldwin, most recently famous for his impersonation of U.S. President Donald Trump, was charged Friday after a fight over a New York parking spot. The 30 Rock sitcom actor, 60, quote, assaulted someone for a parking spot that they were both going for. What a totally, New York thing to do, right? Baldwin was arrested and charged with misdemeanor assault and harassment, police said. He was met by dozens of photographers and camera crews on his release from a New York police station on Friday. Alec Baldwin hates, the paparazzi and photographers and stuff. Usually he gets in a fight with those people, people from TMZ. He called someone not a fag. I think he did call someone a fag. No, I know what it was. He didn't call someone a fag. He called someone a queen. It was a gay journalist. He said, I'm going to find you, you toxic little queen, and I'm going to fuck you up. Everyone calls that homophobic. I don't think it's necessarily homophobic. I mean, all my listeners call me faggot or careless fairy, so my views are a little skewed. Some would say distorted. Alec Baldwin, who always makes fun of the president for getting on Twitter and tweeting shit. He got on Twitter and he said, the assertion that I punched anyone over a parking spot is false. I wanted to go on the record stating as much. Baldwin has enjoyed a new wave of popularity in the last 2 years for his scathing impression of Trump on Saturday Night Live. Told by White House reporters on Friday of his arrest, Trump replied, I wish him luck. Baldwin has a history of losing his temper. Here we go. In 2014, he was given a summons for disorderly conduct after an argument with police who stopped him riding his bike down a one-way street. In 2011, he was thrown off a plane for refusing to stop playing the game Words with Friends. Baldwin, who currently hosts the weekly television talk show The Alec Baldwin Show, in 2012 denied punching a photographer who was trying to take photos of him. He sure is accused of punching people a lot. Some might call him a rude, thoughtless little pig. All right, a final story we have for you today. Now, this is an old lady I can get behind. I kind of like this old broad. A retiree made hundreds of expletive-laden 911 calls, actually 999 calls, because it was over there in the UK, demanding pasties and lifts to bingo. Now, when they say pasties, I'm guessing we're not talking about stuff to cover your tits, right? Little stickers to cover your nipples. Or tassels or something. I think in England maybe pasties are just like pastries. Like donuts or something. Croissants. Although that would be a great prank phone call. Lena Taylor was convicted of making nuisance calls to the emergency services in July and received a 2-year conditional discharge. Ew, a 90-year-old woman's discharge. What a sight. The 90-year-old was back in court last month, having made another 420 calls to the emergency services between July 14th and August 30th. Doing some quick math, that's less than a month. The woman made her hat trick of appearances in court this week following a further 9 abusive phone calls. Taylor walked free from North Tyneside Magistrates Court after pleading guilty to a malicious communications offense. Again, this woman is 90 years old. This is what happens when you've got nothing else to do. It's almost sad, right? She probably had a husband, he's dead. Family doesn't visit her enough. She's got nothing to do, nowhere to go. This is another reason why I'm really pushing for mandatory euthanasia. Let's just put these old people out of their misery. They're miserable, they're making other people miserable, and they're putting people in danger. Elderly people are dangerous. They're tying up all the 911 lines. Wow, I'm really starting to craft a convincing case to kill old people. They're endangering our babies. Like, think about this, right? A mother's got a newborn baby, just brought it home from the hospital. It stops breathing, right? It starts to turn blue. So she doesn't know what the hell's going on. What's wrong? She calls 911, can't get through, because an old woman wants a 911 operator to bring her a cheese Danish or something. Then the baby dies. Wouldn't it have been better to kill off the old person who, let's be honest, only has a few years left, if that? Then, having a baby die, a baby's got its whole little life ahead of it, even. Starting to sound like Snagglepuss there. A baby, even. All right, the court heard that between July 14th and August 30th, Taylor had been a great strain on resources and had an ambulance sent to her house on 4 occasions just because she was bored or wanted a ride to the grocery store. Taylor was taken to the hospital on 1 occasion, but the other 3 times she did not need hospital treatment. During one call on July 22nd, she called saying, "I've done my dinner. I need someone to take me to bingo to keep me calm. Stop fucking messing around with me. I'm not going to sit in this house all day." A few days later, she demanded an ambulance and said, "I want them here now. Bring me a cup of tea and a pasty. Hurry up, I'm starving." And in another call, she said, "My pasties fucking fell on the floor, you stupid cunts. Get the ambulance out now." She needs an ambulance because her cookie fell on the floor. Despite her repeated appearances before the court, it was revealed Taylor had continued to make abusive calls in the last few days. The court heard that Taylor has made 79 calls to the emergency services in the last 3 days alone. Her, I guess, public defender or whatever said she almost has a compulsion to ring up the emergency services. She doesn't wake up in the morning wondering who to abuse next. The plan is to occupy her time. She needs to get on the internet, get her a tablet or something. The plan is to alleviate her loneliness. The plan is to put her in touch with others who can provide help and support. Taylor was handed a 12-month community order. There, you got something to do now. Go pick up garbage on the side of the road. Ordered to pay £85 in court costs and another £85 to victim surcharge. So there you go. That's what's happening in your world today, freaks. Let's do a couple voicemails and get the hell out of here. Hey, I'd love to hear from you, freaks. 206-666-4463. There are other ways to contact me, of course. show@distortedview.com. You can also find me all over social media, @DistortedView on Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook.com/DistortedViewShow. Don't forget, we've got a subreddit where you can post links to news stories or audio, video, whatever. Also a Discord. You can chat with other freaks, almost 900 members strong.
Can you go? I'm sad because last year and this year you didn't do your distorted boo.
Oh, yeah.
So could you just do that for me real quick because you love me and I give you money on the sideshow and the face.
I didn't do that with the clip keeper. On this edition of Distorted Boo! On this most dreadful of nights. It's always dreadful nights. He's my favorite character that no one likes. I did him once on Morning Sickness. The clip keeper! And then yesterday. But yeah, Distorted Boo! Yeah, Distorted Boo! Distorted Boo! Jesus. You're killing me.
Hey, Tim. Max from Ohio here, listening to your Halloween episode.
Yes.
Interesting that you, of all people, would criticize Vincent Price about the quality of audio engineering and leveling that's gone into his work.
Why? My show sounds awesome.
Interesting. I'm not saying anything.
I work very hard on making this show sound good. The second one person complained about the sound of the show, I completely ripped apart my setup and changed everything around. Good fucking grief, man. Now you're going to cause me to do this all over again. Oh, my God, I just thought of something. I got to replace all these I got to replace the computer, which means I'm going to have to set up everything again. Oh, good fucking Christ.
No, I'm not saying anything specifically, just,
Talk about bad audio quality. You, phone, bad.
Hey, Tim, it's Haley's Comic. Calling up with what I sincerely hope for.
Oh, hold on a second. That was probably a bad call, I see. Because he called right back.
Hey, Tim, Haley's Comic, calling up with what I hope will not become the next Wing was on an episode of South Park. I looked up the Dracula rap video.
Yeah, for ECAD. I don't know if we played that on a Sideshow exclusive program. No, I think that was the Halloween show, right? Yeah, so everyone heard that.
You posted, and it turns out the guy singing Dracula is the same guy who is the voice actor for Mario and a bunch of other Nintendo characters.
Are you kidding me? Really?
It's kind of funny. You played a rap of Mario's voice. He also does Wario and
he does Waluigi.
Waluigi as well.
Yeah. Hey, they did a Nintendo Direct where they were talking about Smash Brothers. They didn't announce Waluigi as a playable character, did they? I would have liked that. I don't like Smash Brothers. I can't. That's the one fighting game that I suck. Well, I mean, I suck at all fighting games, but I can play other fighting games. Smash Brothers, I've got a real problem with. I don't like the controls. I don't like the way characters jump. It's weird. Just the general control of the character I don't like. Lord Douche does like Smash Brothers, so I have to play with him all the time, and he always wins, and it frustrates the fuck out of me, and it's partly because I hate the controls so much. My favorite fighting game was, I don't know how well known it was for the Wii. It was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Oh my god, is that game fun. It's not Marvel versus Capcom. It's like Tatsunoko, which I think are like maybe anime characters or something. I don't know. Controls were much better on that. All right, that is all the time we have on this edition of the show. Want you guys to email me. Show at distortedview.com. Distortedview.com is our official website. Voicemail line for you, 206-666-4463. That's 206-660. Oh, God, is it? Oh, God.
Hey, bud, I just want a hot dog.
Spread the distortion, STD. Tell all your friends about the podcast. Don't forget to rate us and review us on iTunes. And thank you guys so much for a great week of programs. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Until then, bye, everybody!